Hello friends, welcome to fourth part of Ultimate Angular Material course. I am Achut. I am going to be your trainer for this course. I had helped thousands of students to master various client-side programming technologies like JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React. And this is continuation of a part 3. I suggest you to go through the part 3 before this. Let's start. In this session, we will learn about toolbars in Angular Material, side nav in Angular Material, menu in Angular Material, and how to create a snack bar in Angular Material. Now let's start learning the toolbar. So basically, what is a toolbar? So toolbar is just a container for headers, titles, or actions used to create a navbar. And to create a toolbar in Angular, we use a directive mat-toolbar. So mat-toolbar directive will help you to create a toolbar which contains the headers, titles, and actions used to create a navbar of them. Now to use the toolbar, we need to use a module mat-toolbar module from angular/material/toolbar package, and once you import this package, you add it in the imports array of your module and exports array of your module. Then we can use a directive mat-toolbar with we can say some options. So this will have a div will show you the title of your website, and then we have one more div which will have the tool options in the spans of that. Now you can also apply the color and the CSS class to the toolbar. Now here we have the CSS. We are just saying justify content space between and the span padding right one time here. Now let's have the demo of a toolbar. Now for this, we'll go to our existing project here, and at the first step, we'll go to the design module. Now in design module, we'll import a package required for the toolbar. So we'll say import, and we'll say mat, and we'll say toolbar module from at the rectangular slash material slash, we'll say toolbar, and we'll add it in the imports array. So we'll say mat toolbar module. Okay, now by default it will add this, so we'll just remove this. We do not need this, and we'll add in the exports array. The next step, I'll go to the app component.html, so I'll just delete this, and we'll create toolbar using a mat toolbar directive, and in this we'll set div, and in the first div we'll specify the name of your application or website or what web application. Now I'll set div here. In this div we'll specify the tool options using span tag. We'll have the span, so I'll say home. Now I'll say about here, and we'll say services. Okay, now I'll save this. Now if you go to the Google Chrome, so I think I had closed the Google Chrome by mistake, so here I'll just open this again, and we'll say localhost 4200. So by default your toolbar will look like this. I had zoomed it 150%, so if I remove this zoom and make it 100%, so it will be like this. Now it's not looking good, attractive, so we'll make it little attractive by applying some CSS classes. So here I'll go to the CSS file, so app component.css, and in app component.css I'll say your .nav bar, and in a .nav bar, so what I'll do is we'll say justify content, and we'll say space between. We want to put the space between the content, and second thing that I want to span, and in the span tag what I want to do is, so in the span tag I'll specify some padding, right padding. So we'll say padding dash right, and we'll say 1 rate. Now I'll save this. Now I'll go to Google Chrome. You'll find the gap between all this, but still we forgot to apply the nav class. So on the toolbar we'll apply the class navbar. Now I'll save this and we'll see it in Google Chrome. Okay, so you'll find this to be aligned to a right, and this will be the title of your website. You can also apply the color here, and in the color we'll see something called the accent. So we'll change this color to accent to this. So home, about, services, erratic. Now that's all for the toolbar. Let's learn about side nav. The side nav components are designed to add side content to a full screen app. To set up a side nav, we use three components: mat-sidenav-container, which act as a structural container for our content in the side nav; mat-sidenav-content, which represent the main content; and mat-sidenav, which represent the added side content to them. So side nav is basically a bar, or we can say area, in full screen app, which will help you to show some content. Now side nav in Angular material is made up of three components. So first is the container, then the content, and actual side nav. The container will act as a, we can say, container or parent for content as well as side nav. Whereas the content is the main content of your page or application that you want to display, and side nav will help you to create the sidebar. So area at the side of a main content, which will show you some side content to that. Now to create a side nav, we need to use a module. So mat side nav module from Angular material slash side nav package. And once we use that package, so we can create a container using a directive mat-sidenav-container. Then in that we'll create two sections. One is side nav, that will be your actual side nav, and then we have the side nav content main, so that will be your main content to them. Now add opened attribute to open it by default. So by default your side nav will not be visible. Now to make your side nav visible, so we need to use the open attribute in Angular material, and once you use the opened attribute, it will show the side nav. To open it, we have basically two-way binding. For two-way binding, use forms module in app module of that. So here, so we can use the opened attribute to open the side nav, and to use the opened attribute to open the side nav, so we need to use the two-way binding. So we can attach it to some property from, we can say, a class. So in a class we can create some property called open, and we can assign that to the open property, and we'll use the two-way binding with that. So banana in a box. And if you want to use the two-way binding, then we need to use the forms module in your app module, because forms module provides you all the syntax for, we can say, for a two-way binding here. Now if you look at here, so we did the two-way binding. So square bracket, round parenthesis, open, and we are using one variable open here. And then we have a side nav, then we'll say mat-sidenav-content main. This is the main content. We are getting a button, and on the click of button, so we are, we can say, we are toggling the value of open. So if open is true, we are saying false, false is true. So not open and open. So when you click on this button, it will make the open not open here. Now beside this, we can have few more options in the side nav. So you can specify the side nav modes. So side nav have three modes: over, push, and side. So by default mode of a side nav is over, so it will overlap the main content of that. So you can also push the main content, or you can keep the main content to the side of that using a mode. Beside that, it provides you three methods: open, close, and toggle. So open method will help you to open the side nav, close method will help you to close the side nav, and toggle will open and close the. Now to access anything about the side nav, we will create a reference variable in a side nav there. Then we can create buttons and we can invoke those methods on the click of those buttons of them. So here we have this. So it's a mat dash site nav dash container, and here we are creating a reference variable on a site nav, and we had created three buttons, and using this reference variable, so we are calling the method something called open, close, and toggle of this. So open, close, and the toggle of that. Fine. Now, so when you click on the first button, it will open this. Second button, it will close this, and third button, it will toggle this. Now let's try to understand this practically. Now for this, I'll switch to our project in a VS Code. So this is our project that we had created in last demo. So I'll just delete this code from app component.html. So at the first step, we'll go to design module.ts, and here in this module, we'll import a module required for side nav. So we'll say import, and here we'll say something called mat side nav module from angular slash material slash side nav. Now I'll add it in the imports array. So mat side nav module, and we'll also add it in the export array. So mat side nav module. Now here we'll go back to the app component.html. Now let's try to create a side nav, and we know we need three components to create a side nav. The first component is mat dash side nav dash container, and the second component that is nested inside this is called mat dash side nav actual side nav that we have here. And then we have the mat dash mat-sidenav-content, that the second content second component that will contain the content. This will have the side nav content, and this is your main content. I'll just save this. Now if you go to the browser, you'll see the main content. Now side nav is not by default visible. Now if you want to by default make the side nav visible, we need to use the open attribute of a side nav. So here we'll apply the open attribute. Now by default side nav is open now here, but it will hide the main content. When you click on the main content, it will hide the side nav. Now when we refresh this, by default side nav is visible. When we click on this, it will hide the side nav. Now I'll use small CSS here. So what I'll do is I'll go to app component.css. We'll apply some CSS here. So we'll apply CSS to tag, suppose mat dash side nav, and in this, suppose if I say background color pink, his width is something called 220 pixel, and let me check, can we apply the height? So I'll say 100%, and here I'll say mat dash mat-sidenav-content. Let's say background color is yellow. Height is something called 100%. Now I'll save this. Now by default it will look like this. Now when we click on this, it will hide the side nav. Now if you want to open the side nav on the click of this button, so what we need to do, so we need to create one property and we assign the value of that property to this particular side nav open property of that. So for example, if we create one flag, so we'll create a flag and that flag will be, so if I modify this, I'll say show boolean. Initially, suppose if I make it true or false, depends on your requirements. So if I keep it true, so we'll create a different variable. We'll say show, or we'll just say open boolean true. Now what we'll do, so we'll go to the HTML layer and I will bind the open value to this. So by default open is true, so your side nav will be visible. Now when you make it false, it will not be visible there. Now I want to toggle the value of this open variable on the click of some button. And how we can do that? Suppose we get a button here. In the main content, we'll have the button. Value equal to click. And to toggle the value of this open property here, we need to use the two-way binding. And to use the two-way binding, at the first step, we'll go to the app module. Then app module, we import the forms module. Import and we'll say forms module because for two-way binding, we need a forms module from English/forms. Set capital for the forms module. And we'll add it in the imports of this app module. I'll go back to the component and we'll use the two-way binding. So for two-way binding, we use banana in a box syntax. This banana in box syntax, and we'll handle the click event of this button. And in this click event, I'll just specify open equal to not open. We'll toggle the value of the open. Now by this, what will happen? So we'll have the click here, so it will show that. And by default, so I want to hide the side nav. So how we can do that? So I'll go to the app component.ts file, and by default we'll set the open value to false. So by default it will not be visible, but when we click on the button, so it will be visible here, and when you click on this area, so it will hide the sidebar and show the sidebar here. Now similar to this, we have a few more things with the sidebar, so we can specify the mode. So sidebar has three modes: over, push, and side. So over is a default mode. So over means it will overlap the main content. The second option that we have is push and side. Now let's try to use the mode. To use the mode, we'll go to the side nav component and here we'll specify the mode, and by default is over. So by default is over here. So if I save this, now if I click on this, when sidebar is visible, it will overlap the main content. It will overlap the main content of that. Now similar to this, we can have the push. Now when we specify the mode push, it will push the sidebar. Now it's not overlapping, it's pushing the sidebar. And then we'll have the side here. Now in the side, it will show the sidebar and the main content side by side. It will show the main content in the sidebar side by side. Now beside this, sidebar has three methods: open, close, toggle, and you can use those methods to open the sidebar or to close the sidebar or to toggle the sidebar. Now for that we need to create one local variable, and using that local variable we can access those methods. So we'll create some reference variable here. So we'll say hash, we'll say sn, and we can have the buttons here. So I'll say button, and in a button we'll specify something called show. We'll create one more button. In this button we'll specify hide, and we'll create one more button, and in this button we'll specify the top. Now here we'll handle the click event of this button, and in the click event we'll see something called reference variable sn dot show. So we call, sorry, not show method, open method, and on the click of the second button we'll call the close method, and the last click that we have here is toggle. Now sorry, so here is a small problem, so by mistake I had put it as here. Now we should get the three buttons here, so show, hide, toggle. Now I'll say show, it will show it, hide, it will hide it, toggle will show and hide like this. Now that's all for side nav. Now let us learn about a menu. So it is basically a menu. So menu will show you some floating panel which contains list of options, and you can click on those options and we can execute some code. So to create a menu in Angular material, we use a mat menu, the tag, and this mat menu directive show you the floating panel which contains the list of options of that. Now to use the menu we need a module, so mat menu module from Angular material slash menu, and we can create a menu using a mat menu directive, and in that mat menu we can add the buttons, and every button will have a directive mat menu item. So mat menu item directive will create one item from the menu tab, and you can also use one more directive called the mat menu trigger far, which will help you to trigger the menu. So it will help you to trigger the menu tab. Now you can also create a submenu to create the trigger. So we need to add the template reference variable in the mat menu, and we need to assign a mat menu directive to that template reference variable, and then we can use the directive mat menu trigger far, so attribute mat menu trigger far, and then we can use the template reference variable and we assign the template reference variable to this directive, then it will show that menu there. So it will show that menu. Now here, so you can also manipulate the position of a menu. So for that, menu has two options, two properties, X position or Y position, and here we can specify the value after, before, above, and below. So we can specify these four values in there. So you can also create submenu. So similarly create a menu and trigger it from another menu. So for submenu, you can create a menu and you can trigger it from another menu. Now let us have a demo of menu. Switch to our project, and this is the project that we had created in last session, last demo. Now I'll go to the design module, and at the first step we need to import a module for the menu, and for menu we'll say something called import mat menu module from Angular slash material slash menu. So mat menu module from Angular slash material slash menu. I'll add here so mat menu module, and in exports we have the mat menu module. Now I'll go to the app component.html file. So for timing, I'll delete this side nav code. Now to create a menu, so at the first step, we'll say mat-menu. This will just create a menu. I'll add some options to this menu. So we add three buttons, something called home, and we'll say button, suppose about, and a button services. Now I want this button to be the we can say option inside the mat menu. So for that we use a directive mat dash menu dash item, and here again we'll say mat dash menu dash item. So mat dash menu dash item here. Now to trigger this menu, so what we need to do, so we need to create a reference variable in mat menu directive. So I'll create a reference variable, suppose hash main menu, suppose, and here we'll assign a directive mat menu, and then we associate it to some tag or with the event of some tag. So I'll say button here, and here we'll say something called mat flat button, or we'll say raised button, suppose, and we associate it using a mat menu trigger for. This is again a directive, so mat menu trigger for, and here we'll say main menu, and what we can do is say show menu. Now I'll save this. Now let's go to the browser. In a browser, so when we click on this, so it'll show you the menu home services. It's not showing the about as a menu, so it's showing the about as a button. So here I had made a small spelling mistake here. Now I'll just say save, refresh. Now here home, about, and services. Now you can create a nested menu. So for example, I want to create a menu for the services. So I'll say mat dash menu, and here, so what I want to do is I want to create some items. So I'll say button, suppose we'll say software, and here also something called button. There's hardware, we'll say mobiles here. Now we'll apply a directive mat menu item here, and I'll just copy this. I'll paste it here, again paste it here, and here I'll define a reference variable svr, suppose, and we'll assign a directive mat menu. Now I'll trigger it from this menu, so I'll say something called mat menu trigger for, and here I'll use the svr, that is the reference variable we had created. Now let us see what happens here. Now when you go to show menu, so you'll find the services. When you go to services, you'll find the software, hardware, and the mobile. Now that's all for the menu. The last thing that you want to understand in this session is snack bars. Now snack bar is basically used to display some notification. It can show one notification at a time. And to create a snack bar, we use the directive mat snack bar, and we need to use a module, so mat snack bar module. and this is available in Snackbar package. Now step 1 to create a snack bar. So step 1 is create a button which will trigger the snack bar, and on the click event of that button call some method, and in that method we can pass a message and a command. So two parameters, so message and the command. So if you look at here, so we are attaching the show snack method to the click event of this button, and we are passing the snack bar message and the command. So dismiss is a command, then we have the value of that particular button. So when you click on this button, so it will call that particular method. Fine. Now, so second step is import a snack bar service from Angular material snack bar, and you can import it here. So using snack bar, and then you can create uh, object of a mat snack bar service in a constructor of your component, and once you create, you can call the open method of that particular service. You can call the open method of that service, and we'll get the message and the action that we have done. Now here, so step 4, you can write a code on dismiss click by subscribing to on action observable. So Snackbar provides you on action observable, and you can subscribe to that particular observable, and you can write a code. That code will be executed when you perform this action. So to the action passed as a parameter to the show Snackbar, and that code will be executed on them. Now, step 5, you can also specify the duration as a third parameter to the snack bar there. So the third parameter will be an object which will contain a duration, and it will show that particular snack bar for that particular duration there. Now let us learn the snack bar practically. Let us learn the snack bar practically. Now to implement the snack bar, so we'll go to our existing project. Now in this project, what I'll do, I'll go to design module.ts, and in the design module.ts we'll import a package for the snack bar. So import, and here's some mat snack bar module from Angular slash material slash snack bar. Okay, now I'll add in the imports. So I'll say mat, and we'll add it in the imports. Exports and imports. Now I'll go to the app component.html. I'll delete this. Now to trigger the snack bar, so the first step I'll create a button. On the click of this button, so I want to trigger the snack bar, and I'll just apply a mat dash raise dash button to make it red button, and to trigger the snack bar, so we'll handle the click event of this button, and in the click event we'll call some method. So we'll say call, and we'll say something called show snack, and in this method, so we'll pass two parameter. First is a message, we'll say hello snack bar triggered, and second is a command. So dismiss is a built-in command, so this will show the dismiss button on the snack bar. When you click on that, so it will dismiss the snack bar then. Now in the second step, so what we'll do is we'll go to the app component.ts, we'll import the service. So we'll import the service here, so import, and in the import we'll import a service. So which service will import? So mat snack bar service from Angular slash material slash snack bar. Now I'll create an object of this service in a constructor of this particular class. So I'll create a constructor using a constructor keyword and say private sn, and here snb suppose, and here also something called snackbar. So we have the snackbar here, so mat snackbar. Now I'll create a method show snackbar that we had called from the click event of this button. Show snack, sorry, only show snack, or show snack bar, and it will have the two parameters. So the first parameter the message, and second parameter the action. Now I'll use this service to show the snack bar. So this start will have access to the service, and this service will get me the open method, and in the open method I can pass the message that I want to trigger here and the action. So message and the action will put here message and action. Now so let's check this whether it's working or not. Now so for that I'll go to Chrome. Now here we'll click on this, so it will use the snack bar. So hello snack bar trigger with the button dismiss. When you click on the dismiss, it will hide the snack bar here. Now so this snack bar will be visible until you do not dismiss it. Now if you want to make it visible for a specific time period, so you can specify the time period here. So here you can pass that time period at the third parameter, and in that third parameter so you can specify a property duration, and in the duration we can specify suppose 2000 milliseconds. Now the snack bar will be by default visible for 2000 milliseconds of time. After 2000 milliseconds it will automatically hide it. Now if you want to handle the dismiss click event, so snackbar provides you on action observable, and you can subscribe to that on action observable, so say, and you can write some code here. So for that what we need to do, so we need to create a reference variable in the snackbar, and using that reference variable, so what we can do, so we can handle the on action. So I'll create snref, and here we'll say snref dot on action observable, and we'll subscribe to this observable, and in a subscription we'll pass one lambda method, and in that lambda what we'll do is in lambda we can write whatever we want to write here. So here I'll just say something called alert. We'll say snack bar dismissed. I'm just writing some small code. You can write any code whatever you want to write here. Now I'll just save this. Now I'll go to a browser, and now when we click on the show, so it will show the snack bar, but when you click on the dismiss, so it should show us the alert, so snack bar dismissed. Fine. Now this way you can handle the action of a snack bar, so action of a snack bar. Now that's all for the snack bar. If you enjoy this video, please like us and share. Also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and do not forget to press the bell notification button to receive the notifications for our new videos. If you have a question, you can ask in the comment box or visit my blog blog.writetechpune.com. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.